You've both been listening to Gabby too. What's your reaction, Chris?
Well, I mean, it is hypocrisy, and pretty much all these single issue groups suffer with that. Of course, we've got hundreds of single issue groups across the country, and we have had for many years, and each one has its own issues. Now, to be quite fair to these people, they've successfully got their message out. You know, we're talking about this on this TV, it's been across the news. But I think the police are really struggling to deal with it simply because they've been dealt a hand that they're not able to manage. And what I mean by that is that the way to stop this happening is to actually send people to prison if they continue to break laws, but also potentially take homes off them and houses off them and assets off them if they continue to break the law. But of course, our courts aren't doing that. And that's what's making and allowing these people to carry on committing these crimes.
Gabby, how would you respond to that?
I think the protesters and myself, we're quite prepared to go to prison. Like I said, I'm much less frightened of anything that the criminal justice system can do to us than I am starving to death.
Mike...
Well, that's good news, because the best place to stop you from sitting in front of cars is probably a prison cell, and that would solve the issue, wouldn't it? Yeah. And we would
I would like you to be in prison at the moment, Gabby. I think you're a very nice person, but I don't think you should be allowed to cause this chaos ahead of the COP26.
But also, Dan, it's the assets. I mean, people's assets. You know, these people have obviously got assets. They're breaking the law, and maybe their houses should be taken off them, or you know, whatever, you know, whether it's their own vehicles or whatever. Okay. There should be a means of dealing with people like this.
Mike Neville, your view?
Well, I feel sorry for Gabby. She keeps coming out with all these stock phrases like code red and emergency. She obviously lives in total fear of something that may or may not happen. And I agree with Chris. The police have got to be more proactive. As we heard in Thurrock, it took them an hour to turn up, and that's an hour when ambulances are blocked, children are stopped from going to school when they've missed 18 months through COVID. And I think in the wider term as well, when we keep talking about fuel poverty, it will be the poor who suffer. If we don't have carbon fuel, it will be poor people who can't afford it. And what Gabby is trying to achieve, she'll make even more people die of fuel poverty with an extreme view of what we keep being warned of Armageddon all the time. And I think the people's reaction to that will put their head in their hands because they keep hearing all these extreme views. We know the climate changes. It's changed for every year the Earth has been in existence, but it's constantly being told that Buckingham Palace will be flooded or some other nonsense, and people are sick to death of it. And I think if she wants to go to a prison cell, then all those silly old fools we start sitting in the road, then they can go as well. And I think
well, I want to give Gabby a chance to respond to that. Gabby?
I just think spreading climate denialism is just so dangerous, and I kind of don't have anything to say to that.
He just said the climate was changing.
He said the climate is always changing, which is something that people say to say it's not real, effectively.
It's become like a religion.
The conversation has moved on from is it happening, is it serious, isn't it serious? We know it is, and now we're talking about how to deal with it, so catch up.
But I actually sign up to that, Gabby, absolutely I do. I just don't sign up to the more extreme measures that are going to put the wealth and the health of Brits at risk. And I also think your group really should be targeting China, actually. I think it would be much more wise if you had the bravery to go to China, to really focus on that country, which is the root of all issues when it comes to carbon now.
It's not China's responsibility to insulate British homes and stop, was it like 8,500 people that are going to die this winter? It's got nothing to do with China. It's no, but
over 27% of the carbon emissions across the globe come from China. They're all of the top carbon-emitting cities, and it's growing. But look, Gabby, I mean, I think you're a great person. I'm glad that you've come here.
Thank you.
I personally think it would be so much more wise to take these sorts of platforms, have the discussion, put your point of view forward, rather than taking this extremist terrorist action, which I promise you, Gabby, is turning off the British public. And we live in a democracy. It's the British public that you need. If the British public supported what you wanted to do, then Boris Johnson would probably have to consider it as a policy at the next election. But what you're doing is losing the British public right now. Final word to you.
Just thank you for having me.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.